Oh, bam. We are back again for the 19th episode of JA Movie News. And, just talking about the latest and greatest, the biggest in the world of the cinema and movie news. And we're just going to dive right in and talk about our first topic of the night, which is something I've been wanting to talk about for quite a little bit. So let's go ahead and dive in here. Okay, so as far as the Fast and the Furious films go, it looks like there's going to be all in all 10 films. And the 8th film comes out April 14th, 2017. 9th film, April 19th, 2019. And then the 10th, the 10th movie is coming out April 2nd, 2021. Oh my God. Okay. Look, I'm trying to think about the best way to say this. I mean, the 7th movie, I like the first one. I like the first one a lot. And the second one was okay, sort of, but not really. And then everything after that, I just really, really did not like. I mean, I like the Tokyo Drift one, but I'm obsessed with Asians for some reason. So, I mean, whatever. So I like that one. But everything else, I just basically hated in a nutshell. And then the Fast or Furious 7, I think it is just Furious 7, but that one, ironically, I gave a 7 out of 10. I mean, it's just, it was so stupid, it was actually fun. You know what I mean? Like, it was so ridiculous. I actually kind of have fun with it a little bit. Even though it's just batshit crazy. I mean, they're okay. Getting back to the point, I understand why in the fuck there's 3 more coming. I don't understand why didn't they just shut it off with number 7? It would have been a perfect ending. Perfect. The last sequence, even though I think the movie is mediocre, or I mean, it's just good in definition, and that's it. But the ending scene is actually really fantastic, and it's actually like heartfelt. You know what I mean? I think it would have been just such an extraordinary way to wrap up the franchise. But now that they're just like, look at all that money we made, they're just like fast forwarding to all the way to 2021, which is just unfathomable to me. Because at this point, Stan Lee should reach out to them because seriously, he could use them in the Marvel universe. Real talk. But I don't understand when they went from being like regular human beings to like straight full-on superheroes. Like, I'll never forget watching Fast 6, and when Michelle Rodriguez gets thrown off from one bridge to the other, she's just CGI for most of the time. Me and this dude laughed so hard. I haven't laughed that hard in the theater since maybe like Hitler was getting his face blown out in Inglourious Basterds. But anyway, personally, I think it's a bad idea. I think it's just ridiculous and just stupid. I mean, why? Why? You should just ended it at 7. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? What are y'all gonna be doing in 2020? Are we gonna be in space, bro? Is it gonna be like the Fast and Furious version of Guardians of the Galaxy? Anyway, what are your thoughts on this? So.
Okay, so my take on it is I really enjoyed the first one. That was a classic to me. I'll always be a classic. Right. I didn't so much like the second one, even though it was funny. Sure. Tokyo Drift, I thought I actually same reasons like you. For whatever reason, I have this attraction to that. Yeah. I thought it was bold, them going and doing the 4th one, and I actually really liked the 5th one. It just, the problem with it was that it took away from so many other movies. I think Italian Job specifically. Sure. But it was just insanity, that so much so that I was like, okay, I want to see where this goes, And then I think they caught me in with how Han died, that I was like, all right, I will give this a chance after the 6th one to know like how Jason Statham plays in this whole entire thing. The problem is that before they came up with making the script for the 7th one, they had already planned to make 8, 9 after the 7. And so they said that after the 7 one, after, you know, he died, they were on the fence whether or not they really wanted to make it, because it would have been the perfect end. It solidified, to me, the franchise. There's no reason for them to make any more. I think that they're going off and saying, well, this is what Paul would want. But I think that now it's more so of a money kind of thing. It's like, why stop the wheel when the wheel is still turning? And I don't think that's smart. I think they should have given it some time, you know, or some thinking whether or not like they can even try to go that far, because for them to say they're going to make 3 more films like that, that's really arrogant to me, versus, all right, we're going to bring this to New York and say, all right, we're going to bring in the people from Tokyo Drift, like the young guy, I think his name was Jason Black or whatnot, and see how he kind of plays with the team and everything. Or even bringing Eva Longoria or Eva Mendes, I think her name was, back into the fold. Yeah, maybe leave it for just an 8. But for them to say they're going to make 3 more, that's a money thing. And I don't like that fact about it. I can see them doing it because that was initially what they were going to do. But because of the events of how the 7th one ended, it's not going to be that easy. It's going to become so convoluted that it can be cartoonish at this point.
Yeah, man.
Because I don't know where they're going to go with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think like the 7th film, even though I'm not like a fan at this point, I do think that they hit this thing with the 7th one where like it sort of felt like an event, and I don't think that they can. I don't think that they'll. I think they're gonna have a hard time trying to duplicate the success of the 7th film with 8, 9, and 10. I think 8 might be okay, maybe, but to go into 9 and 10, it's just ridiculous. And one thing I do want to make really clear is that a lot of people keep harping on this. Well, it's not the same without Paul Walker. Look, man, whether Paul Walker was there or not, in either reality, I think it's a bad idea to go all the way to 10. That's just, man, you gotta be a straight super fan to be buying that box set, son. And also shout out to Paul Walker. He's not someone that I thought was a great actor, and that's not to say that he was a bad actor by any means. I wouldn't say he was a great actor, but he definitely appeared to seem like a great person for sure.
Yeah.
Dude was always cracking me up whenever I saw footage of him in real life, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And definitely shout out to his movie Joyride. I think it's called Joyride, which is still to this day a movie that I think is really, really good.
Yeah.
He was really good in, like, legitimately. But
did you ever see the movie Running Scared with him?
I did. A buddy of mine, Josh, really likes that fucking movie. I can't like really remember it. All I remember is like some insane sequence in like a ice hockey rink or something. That's like the only thing I remember.
Dude, that movie is so awesome. I think that was probably his best well-acted movie. But the story was so engaging that I was like, this is a great film. Like, I love that film.
But no, I just wanted to make that clear though. Like, whether Paul Walker was there or not there, either way, I don't think it's a good idea for them to go to 10. Your thoughts on that? Because a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, well, don't go to 10 because Paul Walker's not there." It's like, well, I don't think you should. I don't think it's a good idea, period.
Like, I don't think that they should go with the expectation that they're going to go that far. If it makes it there, then fine. But you can't just pre-plan something like that, because I don't think they have enough story to keep people invested that long. I think that
this isn't the Marvel Cinematic Universe, son.
Or Harry Potter. I mean, this is not Harry Potter. I mean, but I will say this, that if Paul was involved, then the plans that they had moving forward to 9 would have been a lot more better paced out, because probably the events that happened in 7 would have kind of dragged out until a little bit later on. But I mean, it doesn't make a difference because they're over planning something that they shouldn't be doing.
I'm not trying to be an what do they call it? ages. So I ain't got nothing against people who are older, but bro, let's be real. Vin Diesel, he's like what 40, bro? What? Come on, son.
Dude, he's half past expendable. He's half past expendable.
The only way I'm okay with them, the only way that I am, and then we're gonna drop this bullshit, but I'm good with them going to 10 is if they just say fuck it. I mean, they really just give no fucks. Like I want to see Vin Diesel like throw a car at someone. Like I want to see Michelle Rodriguez get shot point blank in the face, and she lives like full face reconstructed. Like they need to just go in if they're just going to 10 because this is just silly. But
yeah.
Any final thoughts before we move on?
Shoot, man, I don't know. I think that they would benefit from a really strong director, but I am glad that they got the director of Straight Outta Compton to direct number 8, and that is a good foot forward. The fact that they were able to get him to be the director, because I'm surprised by it. But I don't know, man. I'm really worried for the franchise. I think the 8 will be very entertaining, but I just don't think that they're gonna make it to a 9. For some reason, I think that Diesel's already been pulled in already because of Groot, but he's already been chosen to be another character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's just like, bro, like you're not young like you used to be. So,
I haven't heard about the directors, but in short summary, at least I think it's a bad idea. The fuck, 2021, son. The fuck. By the time the movie's done, Star Wars Land is going to be out. But anyway, speaking of Star Wars, we're going to dive into our next topic here. Let me get the old screen share button going. Bam! Star Wars: The Force Awakens. At the current time, it is in the process of crossing the $900 million mark in North America, becoming the first film in history to achieve that milestone.
Yes.
And let's see here. It's about to be hitting the $2 billion mark at the worldwide box office, becoming only the third film in history to achieve that feat after Avatar and Titanic. Let me see here. It's expected to clear $2 billion globally sometime on Saturday. It's 53rd day in release.
That's so awesome.
It's definitely it's crazy, honestly. I think this is a huge milestone for Disney, and the fact that 900 domestically is really something, and to be hitting the $2 billion mark is pretty insane. Unfortunately, I mean, this sort of leads to the inevitable conversation, but I don't think it's beating Avatar. I just think that ship has probably sailed. Which, at the same time, it's not that big of a deal. It's just like it was something that I was personally hoping to see because it would just be really cool to have The Force Awakens as the #1 biggest film of all time. But it does not look like that's happening. But still, Force Awakens gave it a hell of a go. And this is not like I know some people are like, oh, it didn't beat Avatar. Oh, it's like, bruh, come on. Like, let's give credit where it's still $2 billion, son. It's still 900 domestically. This is just like a literal blowout. And I think it's sick. And I can't wait to see episode 8. By the way, who the fuck saw that picture of John Boyega all muscled up in the back and all he wrote was he just wrote 8 on his Facebook. I was like, bruh. But anyway, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I think that that's a shining achievement that they deserve. I'm glad that they have something that cements them in history, not just like their run throughout the daily thing, but like having the biggest record of all time domestically. As American, I'm really proud of the movie. Like I enjoy it. Like it's a movie that I could share with any of my family members. When I have children, they'll be able to watch it, and that in and of itself is a crowning achievement, And the fact, even like it reaching the 2 billion mark, that's nothing to not, be proud of. That's amazing. So I think that it might have the possibility of passing Titanic still. So I'll put it at number 2, worldwide. There's another possibility, and Avatar did do this, which I forgot about. Is Avatar, they went out of the theaters and then they re-released it back in around the summertime with other movies. And people just wanted to re-experience, the 3D immersion. I don't know if they're going to have that same response, with it, but I think that they're probably going to do a re-release, which would be good. I think that that'd be really awesome to have it around the summertime when I can, watch it one more time in IMAX. I think that'd be awesome. But I think it's awesome. I don't have any real problems with it. Anybody that says like, oh, well, it didn't beat Avatar. I mean, yeah, I would love for it to beat Avatar. But then I love Avatar. And I was one of those ones that contributed to those box office numbers as many times as I saw Avatar in the theater. So I think that it deserves the best. And I think the audience knows that it was one of the best films this year. I think the only thing that would have been icing on the cake would have it been getting a nomination for best movie or best picture. That was the only thing that kind of gave me a gripe on it.
Sure. Yeah, this is again, this is not a small win, people. This is huge. Episode 8 is gonna be if I could buy my ticket right now for episode 8, I probably would. I don't give a damn. By the way, who the fuck heard about Colin Trevorrow for episode 9? He was saying that when you see shots in space in the 9th movie, like he actually doesn't want that to be a green screen. He actually wants that to be footage of literal space. If that happens, that's just fucking dope. But anyway, those are our short thoughts on that, and let's try to see how many questions we can get into before the clock runs out. I'm going to try to do the questions a little bit differently this time. So let me see if I can get this to work. Okay. I think I got it to work. Let's see. All right. So our first question for tonight is from Mr. Observer Alternative, which is, what is your opinion on the movie Kick-Ass? Which I think is Matthew Vaughn. Yeah. It is my favorite movie. I've rewatched it over the years countless times. I think it's really awesome and a clever movie. Thoughts on the director Matthew Vaughn? He directed Kingsman as well as Kick-Ass and X-Men First Class. Okay. Well, definitely thanks for the question. Kick-Ass is a movie that I thought was pretty damn good. What was that like? Was that like 2007 or something? I think that was a while back. Maybe it was a little bit soon. Let me bring up his discography real quick. But either way,
2010. That's what it was.
Oh, was it? Okay. But I like the movie a lot. I think you said that was your favorite movie. Oh, it is your favorite movie. Nice. I think I like the soundtrack. There's a song in there from The Prodigy, which is a dope fucking song, let me tell you. And there's a dope like action montage sequence to that song. I thought that Nicolas Cage was hysterical, and Chloe Moretz, whatever, she was a revelation. I think the film is great. If I had to rate it now, well, I've never really like formally rated it. I think I'd probably give it like a probably like an 8 out of 10 or something. I thought it was fantastic and hilarious. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about it, Sam?
Dude, I became an instant fan of it, man. Like, I went to the theaters kind of on a whim. It was like everybody was kind of like, "Man, it's gonna be trash. Like, why are you going to see this film?" And I literally understood that Hit Girl and even with Nicolas Cage did such a great job that I was like, man, this is one of my favorite films. Like, I loved even Aaron Taylor Johnson. I became a fan of him. I think that at the point that Hit Girl, hold on, I gotta go to my room. 1 sec. When Hit Girl when she actually went and did her like montage fight sequence, I think that I was like, this movie is epic, and the score was on target. Like, I think the score is what gravitated me to thinking this is like A class. I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10 when I watched it. But the score was awesome, the action was awesome, and it was just downright funny. And I think it had like a lot of soul to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Matthew Vaughn, he's an interesting director. I wouldn't put him as one of my favorites per se, but I think he's a great director. But one thing I need to touch on, though, real quick, 'cause I totally did not even realize he made this movie. He made one of my favorite movies of all time, which is called Layer Cake with Daniel Craig.
Oh, yeah.
Me and a buddy of mine, Luke, we straight love that movie, son. It's so good. And the soundtrack is just extraordinary. The first track, I think it's called like Hey Ling or something like that. Dude, whoa. That just, I think it's the song playing like at the beginning of the film where Daniel Craig, he's sort of like, I think he's almost like in a grocery store or something, but he's like looking at the wall of drugs, like ecstasy's over there. And oh man, like I didn't know that he made that movie. That's like a 10 out of 10 movie right there. Hot damn, love that movie. But yeah, I like Matthew Vaughn. His style sort of reminds me of that guy who made Wanted, like Angelina Jolie. I think that's a Russian director, if I'm not mistaken. I think kind of reminds me of that guy's style a little bit. He's got a flair for the ridiculous, and he has yet to make a film that I've loved as much as Layer Cake, but it's got to be coming soon. He's got a lot of potential.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, do you have any final thoughts on Matthew Vaughn before we?
I think Matthew Vaughn is an awesome director, man. Like, I mean, Kick-Ass, First Class, Kingsman, Layer Cake. Like you said, I think the only movie that I didn't necessarily like from him, and it wasn't even necessarily a bad movie, I think it was just a personal preference at the time, was Stardust. I wasn't a personal fan of that. But I mean, every movie that he's directed, like I've been like thrilled, you know. I just kind of hope that he gets a lot more, you know, ahead with this, because I think that if Matthew Vaughn would have directed Kick-Ass 2, I think that the franchise would be in a better state. And even with, like, I'm glad that they're making a Kingsman 2. I'm hoping that he spearheads a sequel, because he's yet to actually do a sequel to the movies he's made. But yeah, I really love the Kick-Ass series, and I actually collected all the comics. I was hoping that they were going to make a third one, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Good question, man. I actually really like that movie.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for your question, Observer. And we're going to sneak in another question here. Let's see. Do I have that? All right. Get the screen share going. Wow. All right. So, this question. Let's see here. I'm from Spain and I've never seen a film on IMAX. Can you explain this to me? Because you have the experience. Yes, my favorite film is Interstellar, and when I grow up, I will go to see Interstellar on IMAX. But I fucking love Interstellar, by the way. That would be really dope if they sort of re-release it in IMAX in the future. I could see them doing that, actually. I actually downloaded a picture. Let me pull this up really quick. So I think I've gone to an IMAX theater, I think every year since 2012, I believe. My first IMAX experience was a little movie called Dark Knight Rises. You might have heard of it. So basically, this is probably the best picture I could probably show you, man, to kind of give you an idea of what it's sort of like. Like at the bottom, in the middle of the scene, at the bottom, you should see like a little man, and then the fucking giant screen behind him that's probably the best representation I could find quickly. The screen is massive, son. I mean, I think it's, I don't know, it's 70 something, I don't know, 6 stories, whatever. The screen is huge. And the sound, there's just more emphasis on the sound for sure. The sound design in these theaters is much more intense than in a regular theater. And obviously, as you can see here, the screen is enormous. And films, if you're watching a film on an IMAX screen like this, and you see a sequence that was actually shot with IMAX cameras, that means that whole sequence will fill up that entire screen.
Yeah.
All right. And all the rest of the scenes that were not shot with IMAX cameras will just sort of be in widescreen on that screen there before you. But so basically, it's just that the visuals are way more amplified, and the sound is much more refined and amplified. So just the IMAX theater experience is just much visceral and immersive than just your regular theater. That'd probably be my best way to sort of describe it. And it's the best movie-going experience that I've had so far. I know that John Campea has sort of spoken about some new theater experiences that AMC is trying to make. I haven't. I need to do some more research into that. But yeah, Sam, what are your thoughts on IMAX? The
Yeah.
IMAX experience, I guess.
So I'll just let them know. That was a great question, man. I think that Interstellar, I would love to see that again in IMAX. I hope they do re-release that. Even Avatar, I'd love to see in IMAX all over again. But there is a difference in certain IMAX screens. So there are some that are really big, and then there are some that are kind of like the popcorn version. So like this one right here, I'm gonna give you a video footage so you can see it for yourself. This is me in the IMAX theater waiting for Star Wars. We're kind of like the middle section, but the screen is just huge. So I think it's like 70, it's like 6 stories tall, just to kind of give you like a scope of it. And like Jor-Els said, like the immersion is everything because you're literally thrown into it. And it's like when you see those sequences, such as like in Star Wars, when you see the Millennium Falcon go through that undercurrent moment, like you're just looking at the entire screen, and it's just amazing to immerse yourself into it, especially for 3D film. But then the other thing is the sound quality is just so awesome as well, because everything that the movie was supposed to be and how it was supposed to be created, you get the best uses of the sound and with the woofers and with the surround sound. And it's like you're literally there, you know what I'm saying? And I think that having a 3D IMAX would be really good. But like I said, you have to be careful. If you go to an AMC theater, those are the smaller versions. But if you go to like a museum or certain other ones, they'll be able to tell you like this is the biggest screen. It'll say like around like 6 stories of some nature. So try to go to like a museum. Like if you're living in like DC, for instance, the Smithsonian's, there's like multiple different ones that have like the big screens as well as all across the world. So just go to like, I guess, the IMAX.com, and those will kind of be like the ones that are the main huge IMAX screens that you want to go and get that full immersion. But if you want to see like a good IMAX screen, you know, I normally go to see it in IMAX for most movies in the AMC theater. So check that out as well. It's definitely a great time.
All right. Yeah, yo, that video, I don't think I've ever seen that video before. That was actually pretty dope. that was sick. But yeah, definitely a great question, man. And you should definitely try to have your next IMAX experience. I would definitely recommend trying to have your first experience either with the next Christopher Nolan film, or maybe wait until part 1 of Infinity War, because I promise you, either one is gonna it's gonna be one hell of a experience. I promise you. For sure.
Heck yeah.
I guess you could try to go with Star Wars 8 because there's no word yet on like how many scenes will be shot in IMAX cameras with Star Wars Episode 8. So there is that too, but that would be like my three choices for like a first time experience for sure. Yeah, but yeah, definitely great question, and I think we're probably gonna cut it there, and on the next podcast we're just gonna try to see if we can just drill through all or at least a majority of your guys' user questions. And yeah, we usually don't film on the weekends, but might switch it up for this for these user questions, might not. But either way, the answers are coming.
Yeah.
And shout out for your guys' questions because they're really good for sure. But any final thoughts before we close out?
Yeah, dude, like thanks everybody for the shout outs and like all the love. And by the way, I was able to actually watch an early screening for Deadpool. So I have a non-spoiler review for that if you want to go over to my channel, JVS. It's pretty funny, by the way. But the Super Bowl's coming up this weekend.
Ooh,
and we got exclusive commercials that I think we're gonna have to talk about it, Jor-El, at some point. Maybe.
Oh shit, you're right. Okay, you know what? Maybe we might have to come back tomorrow, bust out some of these questions because you already know we're gonna have to make a podcast on the craziness of trailers that drop on the Super Bowl. So, yeah. Damn, I totally forgot about this. Damn. But yeah, definitely go to his channel. Because he's got spoiler-free review of Deadpool. He's seen it. He knows, and he's even he's saying there's a little something after the credits. You know what I'm saying? Go check out the video, see what he's got to say about it.
Yeah, y'all.
And yeah. Other than that, we're about to close out, guys. Peace. Until next time.
Later, y'all. Have a good night.
Yeah.